This might be the first time in film history where I heard the word mijo being said. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Think About It Reviews, and we are reviewing The Book of Life. Now, The Book of Life is directed by Jorge Gutierrez. It stars Diego Luna as Monello, Zoe Saldana as Maria, Channing Tatum as Joaquin, and a lot of familiar voices that when you're going to hear when you're watching this film. Basically, this film is about a bet that these two gods and God and Goddess. We have La Muerta, who is the ruler of Land of Remember. Basically, what we see in the trailer. She wages a bet with Exibel, who is the ruler of the underworld of the Land of Forgotten. And Exibel pretty much wagers a bet with her that if he picks Channing Tatum's character, Joaquin, to win the hand of Maria, and La Muerta picks Monello to win the hand of Maria, and they're all Monello, Maria, and Joaquin as children, are very good friends. And basically, whoever wins the bet gets, if Exibel wins and Joaquin wins the hand of Maria, he gets to rule Land of Remember. While if La Muerta wins and Monello wins the hand of Maria, she gets to stop Exibel from doing mischief, basically. And basically, this film started off with kids going into a museum and learning of this story. And you know, that's the main problem I had with this film. I mean, I know they're trying to teach you like a little lesson, or they have to have something there, I guess, for the kids. But man, we could have just left those little kids out of the film, because in the very beginning, I felt this like this was a cartoon, like it was a cartoon we see on Nickelodeon or Disney. So that was my main kind of little nitpick is, do we really need the kids to be in here and being told this story? Because it kind of takes you out of the film, like when you're jumping back and forth from the kids who are learning the story in the museum to the actual characters in the village and Land of Remember and Land of Forgotten. And if you're expecting a lot of Land of Remember, no. The Land of the Remember is basically a good 20 minutes of it. You get there, you see all the colors, and it looks amazing. Land of Remember looks great. It's popping out. It definitely screams Guillermo del Toro. As you see, I'm Mexican, but I don't know a lick of Spanish. But it definitely looks beautiful. The designs look great. At first, it took me a while to warm up with the designs, but it actually it really felt like a film at that point of getting to know, actually going into the whole story. Because, like I said, the beginning felt like a cartoon, but once we got into the actual story with all these characters, it felt like a film. These characters, I had the first half basically focused on the characters, which is great. I guess my only nitpick as well is Joaquin. I really like Joaquin. He wasn't evil. He wasn't, really trying to go after Maria like you see in other films. But it could have been more of a competition, I guess, because we automatically know who's going to fall in love, like who's destined to be together. I would have liked a little bit more competition. I hate triangle love relationships, but in this case it could have worked better if we really didn't know who was going to end up with who. And but all the characters are great. Monello is great. The Diego who plays him is phenomenal. The voice acting is great. Channing Tatum, actually, you see, he's a comedian. He's a good comedian. He has like comedic timing. He's really good in this role when he's given a chance to. When we actually see Joaquin, because Joaquin's not really like, he's in this film, but you kind of wish you got a little bit more out of that character and a little bit more depth as well. And that's the problem with this film as well, is there's just too many stuff going on. If you're thinking about a villain, this villain comes and goes. Like you don't know anything really about this villain that only that he's the bad guy. But overall, like this, the characters in this film were great. I love the god and the goddess of La Moreta and I like to call him Exibel. They were great. I love their little interaction every time they were together. Of course, and of course, the love story. It was fine. I loved the Sanchez family though. The Sanchez family was great. When we go even in the village with Monelo's father, he was good, and you'll recognize that voice right away. Also, the grandma stole the show. Oh, mijo, you just my grandma says mijo all the time, but seeing it on the big screen just kind of brings smiles to my face. And there's a lot of Mexican culture here, and they blend a lot of, but they blend a lot of new music, not new music, but modern music, pop culture music into this film, and they just mix it up with the Mexican tradition. It was a hit and miss. It was a hit and miss, honestly. And there's one song called "Creep" that's in here that's being played. It's an alternative rock song. It did not work. I don't know why they put that song in there. They should have got it out and choose a different song. Out of all the songs, they picked that one. But overall, I mean, the music was hit and miss. You're either gonna like it, the mix of it, or not. But like I said, the design of this whole thing was great. The animation was great. Is it box trollers great? I mean, it's two completely different things, but I think I was more immense in the world and storytelling, and the flow and pacing was so much better in box trolls. The pacing here is just like at first I'm into it, and then it's lagging, and then I'm just like, waiting for this film to be over already. The pacing is just not that great. You think it's a two-hour movie, but it's not. It's really an hour and I want to say an hour 30. It's not a 2-hour movie. It's less than that, but it feels like a 2-hour movie. Editing wise, I guess they could have cut a little bit more from the beginning, and they could have worked more of the Land of Remember into it, because once we get to the Land of Remember, it seems very rushed, and that was a problem I had with this film, is that towards the end it seemed very rushed. I would have liked more of. I was actually enjoying that love triangle a little bit more, because, and the jokes are definitely hit and miss, more miss than for me. For me, it was more miss, because it's definitely kiddie humor. It's a kid's film, it's caters to them, but if the jokes that they're trying to give the adults is just okay, like I said, just hit and miss. But most of the time I didn't really chuckle as much. There was maybe one laugh out loud moment, but overall the jokes just felt kind of flat. There is one reference though from Batman, and it was awesome. But overall, I mean, I don't hate this film. I always say that I don't hate this film, but it was an okay film. I'm never gonna watch it again, of course. The kids, I went to the showing with my little cousin and my little niece, and honestly, they laughed so much more on the Paddington trailer than this film. But I think they enjoyed it. It just didn't bring, the humor didn't work for them. But the overall, I think they enjoyed I asked them what they really liked about the film. They did like Manello and Maria and their love story. So all in all, I guess take your kids to go see it. I mean, it's really something that would, I guess, captivate them, but it just feels a little bit too long. I think my little cousin had to go use the bathroom at some point. I mean, you could hear kids kind of rumbling in the background. They're like, it's a little bit too. I can't say it's a little bit too long, because it's only an hour and like 25 minutes, hour and 30. But the pacing issue just doesn't work and doesn't keep the kids engaged. But overall, I don't hate this film. I thought it was okay. That was great. It had a lot of good things going for it, and then it had a lot of bad things going for it. It was a little balanced. I have to recommend this movie just because the fact that there's not that many kids movies out there at this point. You have the box trolls, but like I said, the box trolls are catered to like the more older. They get the jokes, and it's British humor, so I don't think a lot of the kids would really get into that, 5 or 6 year olds. But this kind of movie is basically up their alley. Like I said, it's very beautiful. They're going to be engaged with the visuals of this film. And Yeah, I gotta recommend it. I recommend this film. If not this film, then I mean, there's other films out there like How to Train a Dragon, Toy Story. You know, just for your Redbox specifics. How to Train a Dragon 2 is coming out. I recommend that fully. Love that movie. But with these kind of types of films, I mean, it's definitely different because it does throw you a lot of um, the Mexican culture, and it's always great to see the Mexican culture on the big screen and people, enjoying it because there's a lot of richness to it. And and I gotta say one other thing I did really did like was the struggles that Monello had with his family and his personal what they want him to be, but what he truly is. I like that. I wish we had more of that for Joaquin, but we didn't. So I just gotta throw that in there real quick. Now, if there's a film that I had to recommend, I guess I could recommend for the older kind of kids is Three Amigos, man. Go watch Three Amigos for the Mexican culture. Three Amigos, such a great film. Very funny. I remember watching it on Disney Channel. So that's one film I recommend. That's I want to say it's kid friendly, but when I was a kid, I watched it and I loved it. And of course, if you want Mexican culture, if you want like that Spanish culture, the old black and white Zorro. Yes, the old black and white Zorro. Used to love that as a kid as well. Used to play it with Mickey Mouse Club. But hey, we don't get that stuff anymore. We get a lot of animation these days. Other than that, I recommend this. Go take your kids. I think they'll enjoy it. I think you will enjoy it, but you will feel like it's a little bit too long. But it's definitely it won't you won't feel like you wasting your money on it. So yes, The Book of Life, recommended by Dan the Man himself from Think About It Reviews. So people, once you're sitting there, you're thinking about maybe watching that movie. It's up to you, man. Do you want to go or do you not? But if you do, grab a tick, grab a seat. Hopefully you got some good popcorn to eat. Enjoy the flick. See you at the seminar, guys.